Let's take you to Cape Town now, where two beaches have been temporarily closed due to sewage spills. The city says the temporary closure to a section of Strand Beach on the False Bay coast and Small Bay in Blaauwberg was a precautionary measure. Eddie Andrews is the acting mayor of the city of Cape Town. Thank you very much, sir, for availing yourself this afternoon. An update. So is it still two beaches and are they still closed?
So yes, so we've had those two beaches that have been closed. Fishhook was opened and closed again as of yesterday. A part of Fishhook Beach, not the entire beach, purely because there was a foreign object that was found in the sewer reticulation system. And these systems are not designed necessarily to process foreign objects other than your sewer and your liquid waste, that is. And of course, it had an impact on the system. And when the sewer pump station does not pump the sewer the way it's designed to do, it definitely has it causes a sewer spill, and the sewer spill eventually spills into the stormwater system, and the stormwater system, discharges into the ocean. And as a cautionary measure, we close those beaches and of course redirect our beachgoers to the remaining 307 kilometers of our coastline in Cape Town.
What's that foreign object?
So just repeat the question.
What is the foreign object that you found?
Yeah, so basically what we found here was builders' rubble, and in the other site we've also found builders' rubble and just general domestic waste that the system is not designed to process, as I mentioned early on. And it's not just that. I think also the impact, probably everyone has heard this before, the cliche, the impact of load shedding on our infrastructure. And so that also has an impact where there are mechanical faults. And then, of course, that also prevents the pump station from pumping the way that it should.
Sure. I think you alluded to it a little bit earlier on, but if you could please just explain for us how the system works, where this kind of a thing happens, because we're seeing this also happening in KwaZulu-Natal. So it is sort of a concern. So please just explain how the sewage makes its way to the ocean.
Yes, so I mean, in Cape Town, our situation is slightly different from what's happening out in KwaZulu-Natal, and we only closed, portions of the beach. And what we've seen now, the past period, the impact thereof. So people are slightly inconvenienced, and we can redirect them. But to answer the question in terms of how the system works, so you've got the sewer reticulation system that's in the center of the road. And on the side of the road, you've got the stormwater system, reticulation system, and that catches all of your rain. When it rains, and of course you take the rain, it flushes out, discharges into the ocean. And the fact that the sewer system is in the center of the road, and when there's a spill, it naturally gravitates towards the stormwater system, and the stormwater, as I mentioned, discharges into the ocean. And we've got, it's just how the infrastructure works, and it discharges far into the ocean. But sometimes when it's contaminated by sewer, it definitely has an impact on our beachgoers, and that ultimately is how the system works. So if we're unable to detect the sewer spill quickly enough, then of course it'll spill over into the stormwater system. And most of our pumps, we've got 400 in Cape Town at least, we've got 487 sewer pump stations, and it's quite a lot. And I think we've got also our pump stations that pump it, ensure that the sewer goes to the wastewater treatment works where it's treated. And of course then we have treated effluent water that we use for watering, irrigating our sports field. Some of our businesses also use that as well, as alternative to potable water. And that's why it's important that we have the system working the way that it should, and it's not contaminated. And every time we have an opportunity to speak on why the beaches are closed, we have to ask our residents to please dispose of the waste in a responsible manner. And that will really go a long way. I mean, we've got lots of records where we've seen where waste has been disposed of irresponsibly. It ends up in our system, it blocks the system, we have sewer spills, and if it's sometimes in the residential areas, you have the system that drains in a residential property. So it also comes up in your gardens, and if the entire system is blocked, you're unable to use your ablution within the confines of your home. And that is why it's so important that the system works the way it should, so we prevent these sort of concerns to all the stakeholders. And also the fact that we have most of our constituents at home, one, and two, we have lots of visitors coming to Cape Town. A lot of people at home, a lot more people are using our ablution facilities, and if the system does not work the way it should, you can imagine what can happen.
I really do not want to, Mr. Andrews. But, you know, the ocean has so much capacity, but it also self-regulates, right? And so just a few weeks later, after the sewage spills in KwaZulu-Natal, there was a freak wave. By no stretch of the imagination are we saying that is related. However, is this something that you are concerned about? I mean, people that study the water, if there are people that study the water, what are they saying?
Well, I think if the system works the way that it should, there are no concerns. I think our City Health Department, we do daily sampling of especially when there's a sewer spill. We can't reopen that part of the beach that has been closed unless the samples that we receive, the test results, are confirming that the sample is in the norms and standards. And so now we have our teams assessing, and we can't open as I mentioned early on. But when it works the way it should, you can dispose of the stormwater in a responsible manner into the ocean, and nature, of course, has its way then. It's also important to mention that where it discharges, it's not necessarily where our beachgoers bathe. It's further into the ocean, and of course, when we have a sewer spill that compromises our system and it contaminates the areas, and then if we see it's where our beachgoers frequent, then we have to close only that part of the beach.
Eddie Andrews is the acting mayor of the City of Cape Town. Thank you very much, sir.